Welcome to another edition of the IU Film Room with Coach Adranya. Tony Adranya here to chat about Maryland and Indiana yesterday on the 4th of January. Very much a tale of two halves, and that's going to be the focus of this film room here. Going to kind of look at mainly some mishaps from the first half that were remedied in the second half. Ultimately, this team's going to go as Trace Jackson Davis goes. First half he struggled, the team struggled. Second half he played well, the team played well. It's no secret. Overall, gutsy win. Down their best offensive guard, probably defensive guard as well, in Armand Franklin. So gutsy win for Indiana. So we're going to dive into the film room right now. Mentioned Trace's struggles around the rim in the first half. So we're just going to look at a few clips here. Obviously, every team's focal point against Indiana is going to be to take Trace Jackson Davis away. Maryland really tried to push him off the block, make him uncomfortable. This is a move that – so I don't really like when Trace Jackson Davis catches the ball and he's got to back down with 4 or 5 dribbles. I don't think that's his game. This is a move that he usually makes. It's a quick catch. He catches in a good spot, one dribble. But number 25 on Maryland just does a nice job of kind of body him, and ultimately Trace misses this one.
And their defensive stop.
This one here is going to be, or is something that you see teams do a lot of, and that's trying to take away Trace's left hand. It's no secret. He wants to put it up with his left hand every time down. He wants to turn over that right shoulder, go up with the left hand. So Maryland does a nice job here as he catches. So Trace catches on the block he wants to, but he catches a little deep. And Maryland basically just dares him to try to go over his left shoulder and shoot with his right hand. As you can see, the Maryland defender is basically walling up here and forcing Trace to go over his left shoulder if he wants to make a move here in the post. So ultimately what ends up happening is Trace makes a move, tries to get back over to that right shoulder. Tough move. Doesn't convert there. And his struggles kind of continued there in that first half. This is another one where Trace struggles. Again, he's forced to go over the shoulder he doesn't like to go to on this play. But at this point, he's now missed a few at the rim. And he tends to, when he struggles a little bit, to force a little bit, take some shots that really aren't in his wheelhouse. I mean, this is kind of one of them here. So just kind of goes up timidly, kind of forces a shot he doesn't need to. Probably could have taken a dribble there. Misses it pretty badly. So his struggles continued. Really did not have a good first half at all. And Indiana was only to score 21 points in that first half. And it was about as ugly of a half as you're going to see of offensive basketball. Hopefully. So I noted how the first half was about struggles, and it certainly was. And I do want to point out a highlight that I actually think, it's a 16-6 game with 10 minutes left. It's hard to say that, there's a shot at that point in the game that was really important, but there really was, and it was this play by Race Thompson. So IU is right now in this moment in a 5-minute scoring drought. Nothing's going offensively. They're down by 10 at home. The Twitter sphere is blowing up. People are pissed, rightfully so. Kind of watching this haphazard offense. So this play by Race here, I think, was a pretty important play because he catches, makes a nice move here in the post, gets an and one, and just kind of takes that lid off the bucket for Indiana in the first half to try to get some things going for them offensively. So, like, again, 16-6 game, 30 minutes left in the game. You could argue that there's no important shot at that point, but I think that was a really important play from Race Thompson to kind of turn the tide for the Hoosiers. When you hear coaches talk about basketball or really anything in general, they always talk about doing the little things and how the little things make a big difference. This defensive possession by Anthony Leal was something that, in the grand scheme of things, you could define as small, but man, I really just like the way he battled. He obviously has a size differential here in the post. He's a freshman just trying to get some playing time on the floor. And he really does some dirty work here. So you see him doing some work early. He's sitting in the Maryland player's lap. Maryland's trying to get the ball into him, and as you can see, Leal just battles, goes with the proper hand there, gets a steal for Indiana, and they're off to the races the other way. So just a short little clip there. I wanted to give some props to Anthony Leal of just battling down there in the post and getting the ball for Indiana. So something that was driving me mad in the Penn State game and kind of drives me mad in general with Indiana is how hard they hedge out on ball screens. I just feel like it makes the big have to really cover a lot of ground to recover back. It makes the help side have to help too much on the tag, which leaves open three-point shooters. So I just haven't been a fan of this hard hedge. So in the first half, we see Maryland sets the screen here. We see Trace Jackson Davis does the hard hedge here. So like I said, this hard hedge here, as I move the screen, this hard hedge here, so Trace has had to come out here now to hard hedge. This now occupies Franklin because he has to take away Trace's guy here. And so just a lot on defensive rotations there on that hard hedge for Indiana. So they played this way in the first half. Maryland knocks down a tough shot here, so be it. So Indiana hard hedge in the first half, but I want to take a look at this next clip because they actually made an adjustment. So this is one of the first offensive possessions for Maryland in the second half, about 2.5 minutes into the second half. But instead of the hard hedge that we've seen Indiana employing for a lot of the year, they go with more of a string it out approach here, and they did this throughout the second half on the defensive end. So you're going to see Race Thompson, like I said, he just kind of strings it out. And so how Indiana was guarding it is Race Thompson would try to force this ball handler vertical up this part of the floor. So he's trying to send him that way up the floor. Now he's allowing this guy to string it out this way and go horizontal on the floor, which now allows Race Thompson less room to recover back to his man. So Indiana changed their coverage in the second half to more of a string it out approach and not that hard hedge that we've seen them employ throughout the majority of the season. So just wanted to show that part of it because Indiana did make a second half adjustment of how they were guarding ball screens, which I was very pleased to see. And now I want to go to the play that I think turned the game because it got everybody's energy up, but most importantly, it got Trace Jackson Davis's energy up, and he just became a completely different player from this point forward. So in my opinion, I think this might be the most important play in the game because it completely changed the energy in the gym. Nice drive there by Rob, nice dish, and then Trace Jackson Davis just crams it home. And from that point forward, Indiana's energy in this game, and most importantly, Trace Jackson Davis's energy in this game rose tenfold, and Indiana kind of never looked back from this point. So Trace was able to get himself going, and so now I just want to show a couple clips of him in the second half because, like I said, everything just kind of changed. You see him, he's light on his feet. He's now able to turn over his opposite shoulder. Just a really, really good move from Trace, but he plays more confident because he's got more energy, ultimately able to get an and-one there. And this is when you know Trace is kind of feeling confident. He's got a good feel of the game. He knows how Maryland is guarding him at this point. So, like I mentioned in a previous clip, Maryland is not going to let Trace turn over this right shoulder and try to get to his left hand. So, as you can see here, the Maryland defender is guarding him straight up. He's not going to let him turn over that shoulder. So, what does Trace do in this situation? He catches, takes a dribble, turns over his left shoulder, and makes a nice move there. And is able to make a shot. Now, in the pros, if he shoots a shot with the left hand, probably getting blocked, but it's not the pros yet. So really, really like to see that from Trace. Wanted to show this play as well because it kind of took the lid off the basket from Indiana from the outside, but it actually was a really good action. So as you can see here, Maryland is employing this kind of flat 3-2 zone. And Indiana does a really nice job of overloading a side, and Maryland kind of scrambled from there. So when we say overload aside, Indiana is completely defining this. We cut the floor in half right here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, all 5 Indiana guys on that side of the floor. So you have basically 2 Maryland players that are left just kind of standing in no man's land because they don't shift over. But ultimately, what you see here that I want to show is, so we see Race set a screen on this middle guy here. So Rob comes off this screen. Basically, this guy has to make a decision. Is he going to stop Rob driving, or is he going to stop Al Durham out here on the wing? So he makes a decision to stop Finney there, and Finney does a nice job of kicking. But right there, at this point, now the bottom guy of the zone has had to shift out to the wing. So what does Indiana do now? Make a nice pass to the post. Well, now the top guy has now shifted over to the wing. Everybody's worried about the post. So now what you have is you've got Robert Finney wide open. So the guy that started it all on the drive off of the ball screen is now wide open. And you've got nice kick. And Indiana's first 3-point made shot of the game. So we'll watch that in real time there, so I'm not slowing it down for you. But nice screen, nice drive, nice kick. Ball never touches the floor. 3-point shot for Indiana. And then this clip here is just to show how good Rob Finney can be, how good of decisions he can make, how his ball handling and just understanding where guys are at on the floor is really solid. It's just we don't always see it. So we run this clip here. Finney's going to drive middle right here. So right here, I mean, you would think there's absolutely no way that Finney would get a score here. I mean, he's got 1 guy focused, 2 guy focused, guy standing right on the block, waiting on him. Plus, not to mention, the guy that's actually guarding him on the ball. But right at this point in time, Finney gives him a freeze, hesitation dribble, and basically just kind of everybody lets up. This guy's going to go scrambling out here. This guy's going to go scrambling out here. This guy's going to go with Race. The guy guarding him kind of lets up. And what you get is that one little hesitation move, just a slight little move, gets Rob all the way to the rim. We'll watch that one in real time as well, because just a really nice hesitation where you would think there was no chance for Finney to score. But a little hesitation move changed everything. This was a big play, and it took some guts from Archie. It took some guts from Jerome Hunter. So within 2 minutes, Jerome Hunter got dinged twice for fouling 3-point shooters. I tweeted it. All right, Jerome, you've lost your privilege for playing tonight. I was ticked. I'm sure Archie was ticked, but Archie kept his faith in Jerome Hunter, left him in. So right after his second foul, very easily could have taken him out. I think most coaches probably would have, but Archie didn't. And it pays off for him as Hunter catches, he rises, he fires, and he hits a 3. So just want to show that because that actually gave Indiana the lead, I think, for good at the 10-minute mark. But just a gutsy shot from a kid who has to know he's kind of in the doghouse. Gutsy of Archie to leave him in. Overall, it paid off. Something subtle I've been meaning to note in these film rooms that I keep forgetting about, but I finally got it, is when Indiana guards baseline out of bounds, it does not matter who is taking the ball out of bounds. Indiana is putting Trayce Jackson-Davis on the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to try to find teams to exploit that, whether that be trying to get a mismatch with the big or get Trayce out guarding a guard or having to chase off of a pin down or something like that. But in the meantime, Maryland didn't adjust. So just something to keep an eye on. When teams take the ball baseline out of bounds, you're going to see Trayce Jackson-Davis guarding the ball no matter who's taking it out. As you can see, this is a Maryland guard taking it out, but Trayce is guarding him. Again, you'll see that 99 times out of 100 when Trayce Jackson-Davis is on the floor. In this instance, 100% pays off. Indiana's up 2 right after the 8-minute timeout. Trayce Jackson-Davis catches, or steals the basketball. So just something to look for when you're watching Indiana is Trace guarding that ball. And last but not least, we've got time and score. So Indiana's up by 9 points, minute 19 left in the game. You could probably milk this thing for 20 more seconds, get it down under a minute. Jerome Hunter had other ideas. In his defense, he's wide open, but I think most coaches would tell you they would not want that shot from anybody on their team. And you'll notice Archie Miller right here. Just watch and turn the volume up too, because you'll also hear him scream as Jerome Hunter shoots this shot.
Here's Hunter, the three, up and down.
So as you can see, Archie none too pleased with Jerome Hunter shooting that shot. Immediately points to the bench and pulls him and takes him out. Rightfully so. But, you give it up for Jerome Hunter having some confidence in himself and basically knowing you're going to get pulled when you shoot that shot. But overall, I thought it was a really gutsy win for Indiana to come out of this one victorious after losing Armand Franklin early on in the game, battling back from a 10-point deficit and basically kind of winning it comfortably. Definitely something that Indiana can try to build upon, and they're going to have to do it pretty quickly because obviously Thursday they've got another big one. So again, I'll say this team's going to go as Trace Jackson Davis goes. I don't even mean from a scoring aspect. I just mean from an energy standpoint. When he's bringing it, everybody else is going to bring it, and that's really, really important. So hope you enjoyed this rendition of the Film Room Maryland style. As always, please give me a follow on Twitter at Coach Adranya. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube. It's certainly appreciated. So until next time, folks, this is Tony Adranya for the IU Film Room. Thank you for watching.